where else can we go? You know, the vision of an astronaut in space with just like a Trinidad and Tobago flag, you know, that's like a fascinating place to be. Like, how would you design a spacesuit from the Caribbean? Like, what would that look like?
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, because I'm going to put it like this. I know you're a proponent of it. So I wanted to ask you your thoughts on Afro-Futurism, in particular to like fashion and by extension pop culture. How do you see that, and how do you define that?
So Afro-Futurism, when I came across it, was like this, you know, like when you're looking for something on your life and you come across like this wonderful gold mine, it's like, I've found El Dorado.
Yeah.
You know, it is just such a wonderful bit of culture that we have, you know, because for me, for somebody who have been born and not particularly interested in a lot of the past narratives where Black people exist in it, Afro-Futurism is such a wonderful open canvas for where, you know, we can go on. The thing is that it defines like Black people in literature, in culture, not at the expense of other cultures, which is where I think is a great place for us to be as human beings, to exist, you know, with each other. You know, the thing is that this is just, for example, just like a simple painting of a Black person in space.
Yeah.
And he's not there at the behest of somebody else or an antagonist to like a white person or whatever it is. He just is. And it's amazing to then just go and explore that story.
Right.
There. It's for Afrofuturism in fashion, again, there's like so many things that we could take and go with it there. It's given us a canvas to explore like what we can do now with this future that we're entering into with fashion, with technology, and that fusion of culture. We've seen like some of these things in sci-fi, which is great. We know what some of these futures could look like with the painting of like this kind of Eurocentric kind of vision. But now, which is why Black Panther is such a joy for so many people, is like, oh, okay, so this is what like a futuristic African city could look like. For us in the Caribbean, to me, it's like so much more further. Like I've started to go on further than that in terms of thinking about other things like solar punk. And where else can we go? You know, the vision of an astronaut in space with just like a Trinidad and Tobago flag, you know, that's like a fascinating place to be. Like, how would you design a spacesuit from the Caribbean? Like, what would that look like?
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like a really wonderful starting point, and it provides so many opportunities to get creative. And it could be like a great place for inspiration too, because maybe having like that as like some kind of visual image or like a fashion illustration or just like a concept design, some young boy might end up in like 10, 20 years being at the heart of some kind of energy fusion that would allow us to have like the Caribbean Trinidad into the space race, which is fantastically exciting to think about, you know. So there we are.
You spoke about technology and fashion. I remember, what was it, last year or year before, when this pancetta was basically in its full bloom. Excuse me. And I remember seeing, I think it was you yourself who had posted it up. It was a virtual fashion show, but it looked like they have the clothes and everything, and the models
Yeah.
were virtual. Do you see that there are opportunities to embrace that sort of AI technology, virtual fashion shows and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
for you and by extension, fashion in general?
So we went very far to be fantastic. Let me bring it back down to a very grounded kind of thing now.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, the opportunities are huge, right? What the fashion industry, I think, kind of got catapulted like maybe 5 to 10 years ahead during the pandemic because of the different things that were brought into the process of creating, right? The idea of this creating the image, the sketch, the concept to what is ultimately designed and put in front of people. All of those processes can be done digitally. I could sit right here now and ideate and create like a whole process using 3D, using a little bit of AI technology. And these things are here present now. That software that person uses something that was always available to people. It's just that she was able to catapult on the moment where people were looking for all these wonderful alternatives. For the last 10, maybe 15 years, fashion shows have been struggling with the idea of, is a runway show relevant? Do we really need to get all these people coming out to like all these different places, every season? Reporters were a little bit jaded by covering these things. And then the pandemic came and people was like, well, I need to be safe, but I want to see a presentation. And we had this wonderful time where fashion designers were putting together movies for presenting their concept. A lot of these movies were really fantastic and good to look at. And that has continued a little bit. They still have gone back to some of the fashion shows as you'd expect at some things, but it has opened up the door. So right now we have people taking the process of creating from the concept to the fashion show to the store. And where you could see like a process like that may have taken like a few weeks to a few months, that could actually take days because you're not shipping physical stuff back and forward. You're just sending 3D concepts with actual measurements of your fit models. So everything is working in a way that that benefits people who can work remotely, people who may be in a region where they're not a fashion capital. I have actually dabbled with some of those things, like creating some of these 3D concepts myself.
Right.
And anybody with some time on their hands and access to the software, which is not that hard to get to, you'll see that more and more people will be entering the space and contributing in that kind of way. So it's very accessible now. We've gone so far ahead and the opportunities are amazing.